Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on Forza Horizon 5 for a little tournament. This is another winner stays on tournament. This is very good fun when we did it last time, and we are going to try it again. This time though, we are using some track cars. There have been quite a few of them actually added to the game since we last sort of went to this category. So we've got some new ones, or some newer ones, some say returning ones, some base game ones if you like. We're starting off, so we start off with the lowest PI cars. It is Blakey driving a Huracan STO. It is Liam driving the new Mercedes AMG GT Black Series. I think I've got all the names right that go with it. And the winner of this will stay on to face the next car. So these are the two lowest PI cars. The winner will continue onwards. We'll see who can stay on for the longest and whether any of these cars can throw some big upsets. Liam managed to last time get through quite a few rounds when we did this, so we'll see if Liam can manage this one once more. I don't know what we're going to see. We're doing the reverse of the kind of cable car route that we have run in the past on this map. We're starting at the bottom, we finish somewhere up in those hills in the distance. It's quite a route, this one, as we launch, and we are underway. Lamborghini gets a slightly better start, and it is going to be the Huracan that will lead the way into the first corner, although the Huracan with a little bit of a slide. Mercedes is looking no room to pass through there. Now, unfortunately, there can be traffic. There's quite a few drift zones the cars go through to try and keep traffic problems to a minimum. There's only so much that we can do about this, unfortunately. There is a big jump on this course that some of the really fast cars are going to have to be careful of. Oh, Liam got a twitch going through there by the looks of it, and it's either no, because you're in a drift zone. Shouldn't have been traffic. So it looked like Liam may have made just a little error. However, this course, I mean, it is easy to make mistakes elsewhere around here. Blakey is off to the front as we head off of the bridge. There is that Mercedes. Now is the big acceleration test for these cars. I mean, these are fast cars at the end of the day. The drone will struggle a little bit. This is the one bit of the course where the drone really does struggle a smidge to keep up with these cars. The Huracan's not actually the fastest thing in a straight line that we're going to have here today as we head into the real twisty section now. Mercedes has got some work to do. It's not impossible. You're kind of hoping for some mistakes. That does not go where I thought it did. We've lost a Huracan. Where is that purple machine? It's a nice looking Huracan for sure as we run up the next hill. Sounds good as well. Got to watch out for traffic up here sometimes. It seems to like to spawn. We can't stop it. It seems like to spawn around this corner and this section for reasons I don't quite fully understand. And it doesn't always work in drone mode. It doesn't always show in drone mode. So yeah, you may see cars doing funky things to avoid it. Cars that we can't see because of reasons we don't fully understand. As we head across the bridge, we are getting towards the finish line. It is not far to go for the Lamborghini. Where is the Mercedes? It's gone. Mercedes has made a mistake somewhere and lost further ground. That is unfortunate for Liam. However, that has dropped the Mercedes a long way back. Here is the Huracan. All Blakey has to do is make no more mistakes, no more no adventures off the side of the mountain, pretty much through the tight, twisty section that we have up here. It is towards the final couple of corners for the Huracan. Oh, it's a little bit wide, but stayed on the mountain pretty much and carry as much speed as you dare through here, but you've got to be a little bit careful. And then it is just a left and a right, and there is the finish line. Past the orange sign, past the little lay-by bits. The Huracan is through to the next round. Mercedes a little bit unlucky. I think got a bit of a wobble on the landing of that jump, and then a mistake later on. I mean, Liam had to try. Liam had to push hard to try and catch up, and that is the risk that you run. However, Mercedes is eliminated. Blakey will stay on to the next round with the Huracan. Up next, we have got Shadow driving the Porsche, the 911 GT2 RS, seeing if that can dethrone the Huracan. I mean, advantages for the Porsche, it is rear engine, should get a better, well, in theory. I mean, it's fairly minor. We've got traffic getting in the way. Bloody traffic cars. As much as I like the Galant, get out of the way. So yeah, rear-engine Porsche is pretty good in terms of getting off the line. So it'll have a good traction off of that line. They're both great handling cars. They're both incredibly fast. Sort of track cars, if you will. Genuinely don't know which way this race is going to go. And it is going to be Shadow that leads the way just into turn 1. Very, very even launch between the pair of them. Now, as we head through the canyon, Porsche's a little bit defensive down here. You don't want to go too defensive too much because you will be losing time, but of course, you don't defend, you can get overtaken. Lamborghini sliding about. Across the jump we go. And the Porsche has gone wide. Blakey's alongside. Can't get the pass done. You're going to struggle around the outside. Neither of them really want to be on the dirt there. You'll struggle for traction. The Porsche will continue to hold the lead for the moment, but there was that little opportunity for the Huracan, and Blakey's been much braver through that section again, though. The Lambo's the wrong side. It's got to go to the outside off the bridge. Tries to duck underneath, can't do it. Porsche blocks that or defends that very, very well indeed as they run off of the bridge. And I think there might be some traffic cars somewhere down here. They're phasing in and out of existence, but never mind. Porsche slightly faster of the two in a straight line. It would seem the Huracan is again trying to it gets alongside, but it keeps getting stuck on the wrong side. It's got to go the long way around. Shadow will once again defend. Blakey is looking and looking. No room for that pass to work there. Shadow is under immense pressure, and still the Huracan is it's again almost dived to the inside down there. So one of the advantages as this event goes on, of course, the lowest PI car is theoretically the slow. Now there's only like a couple of PI difference between these two. The Huracan's going to almost send it again. It was a huge attempt. Just backed out of it at the last second. But Blakey will get more and more used to this course while the rest of us are going in having had less practice, less runs, less runs in anger, if you will. I think there may have been a ghost or a traffic car that we didn't witness as there was some avoiding action taking place there from Shadow. We head to the really twisty section down this bit. Okay, I think maybe some traffic cars that we are not seeing. Shadow's got that one wrong, and Blakey seizes the opportunity. The Lamborghini is to the front. Will it be able to hold it? I think the Huracan may be a little bit better through some of these twisty sections, although the Porsche is having a look now to the inside. No room there. Too tighter an angle. You'll struggle to get on the power on the exit. Again, the Porsche is trying to duck underneath. Blakey doing a great job of covering that inside. Some oversteer from that GT2 RS as we head around the next couple of corners. It's been a fantastic race through this canyon course, if you will. Porsche is looking, but I don't think it's got the opportunity. They're both out a little bit wide. They both jump across the dirt. It is around the final section. Shadow has launched it, tried, runs wide, hits the railing, and is oversteering. And it will be Blakey that goes through. I mean, I respect that. Shadow had to try something. And yeah, at that point, you've got one corner left. You've just got to chuck it and hope it sticks, and it didn't in the end for the Porsche. What a round that one was. Well done, Blakey. Another victory for the Huracan. That will continue. Fantastic battle. Incredibly close race between the pair of them. Unfortunate for Shadow. Put up a good fight. Led for a long time. Was under immense amounts of pressure when the Huracan found a way through. The Lamborghini just perhaps a little bit better on the really twisty stuff. Wonderful, wonderful battle right there. The Lamborghini continues its march through, I guess, the running order, you could call it, and Blakey is up against, well, it's something quite different. The Porsche battle was quite a similar kind of showdown between cars. Ollie is driving the Mustang Mach-E Performance hill climb drifty machine. I've forgotten its proper name. It's very fast. It's the most powerful vehicle here. It's very fast in a straight line. Most powerful vehicle here at 1,500 horsepower, and I believe there is a Bronco in the way. Yeah, 1,500 horsepower. However, it is the heaviest here. It's pretty much 5,000 pounds. It's about 2,000 pounds heavier than everything else. It's all-wheel drive, which is its kind of saving grace. It's going to launch off the line pretty damn well. It's going to be super fast down the straights, but it's going to be an absolute boat in the corners. Blakey is going to have to be patient, I think, here, and wait for an opportunity. They will come. The Mach-E is very difficult to drive, and sure enough, it is the Mach-E that leads the way. Ollie is going to have to defend. It's going to be a super defensive round. Blakey is having a look, but, you know, got way more turning. But even if you can get underneath the Ford through there, you can't do anything. Yeah, and Blakey's also got to be careful. You get caught out by how much that Mackie has to brake. Will Blakey send it to the inside of hairpin? Can't do it. The Ford is covering it, although might duck underneath, tries to, but can't get the pass completed there. And the Hurricane struggles a little bit, putting its power down. The Ford is out wide and into some rocks, but this is the issue that the Lamborghini is having. It's just stuck behind. It can't do anything to find a way past at the moment. Now, this section here will be very strong for the Ford. It's going to build a lead here. It's how quickly can the Hurricane, because it's going to catch back up. The second it's not being held up by that Ford. My drone physically cannot keep up with the Ford. But as soon as the Ford is out of range and not slowing the Lamborghini down in corners, oh, they're both taking a weird line through there. But never mind. The Lamborghini is going to be super fast. And this course just gets twistier and twistier as it goes on. The Ford using the most of the acceleration through this section. Ollie is building that gap, but has to. You absolutely have to build that gap through this part of the course, because if you don't, you are going to be vulnerable when we get into the much twistier section, like through here as well. The Hurricane is absolutely flying. The Ford is not. Well, the Ford is sideways. The Lamborghini was a bit sideways as well through all of that. It is neatly done for the Hurricane. The Ford is sticking. He's keeping it together at the moment. We're heading across. It's a short acceleration zone that 1,500 horsepower can be used on. Now we're into the really nitty-gritty, twisty part to end the run, and the Ford's gap is diminishing quickly as we head down here. But the Hurricane's got to get a pass to stick. It will have to dive bomb. It'll have to go around the outside. Doesn't have to. The Mackie's fallen off the course. It has saved it, and it might be able to drive back up, and it does. Well done, Ollie, for getting it back on the course. However, it was the vulnerable section of circuit for the Mackie there. Did a great job for leading as long as they did. However, yeah, it was always going to come under huge pressure from the Hurricane as we got later and later into this run, and yeah, just missed the break. It's such a difficult car to drive. It's so big and heavy for this part of the circuit that in the end, Blakey will march through another round, and it is the Hurricane that will take it. The Ford put on a great show. It was a great race, but a small trip off a cliff. Well recovered and well saved. It was only a minor trip off a cliff, and you don't say that very often when you're dealing with race cars. However, it was a trip off the cliff nevertheless that has put the Mach-E out. And the Hurricane continues its impressive march. What is it going to take to beat this Lambo? We have a new challenger for the Hurricane. Ewan, well, you can tell it's Ewan, it's got an Iron Brew livery, is driving the Mosler. This is the MT900 GT3 car. It is a beast of a vehicle. In the corners, it is very slow down the straights. And, well, Blakey's Hurricane has remained on the circuit, has been incredibly difficult to beat. So, we will see whether it can continue this. I think the Lamborghini may lead off the line. I think the Lamborghini might get the launch here, and the Mosler may have to do the hard work in the corners. Indeed, we are off and underway. It is a better start for that Hurricane as we head towards turn 1. Yeah, the Mosler is going to be a little bit of a weird race because Blakey has outhandled most cars so far. It is now going to find themselves having to defend from a much grippier car, but a vehicle that is much slower down the straight. You can see how quick the Mosler is through the corners. Oh, and Blakey's made a little mistake. Ewan went to the inside, but didn't actually quite capitalise on that as much as possible. It's side by side. That is a fantastic shot through the canyon. Still, the Mosler is there, but there's not quite the room for the GT3 car. So the Mosler is definitely having a look through there. I think there might have been some civilian traffic getting in the way. They both had to take big avoiding action through that section. You can see how late the Mosler brakes coming off of the bridge. That's crazy good under brakes. However, this is where, now, much like we saw with the Mach-E, was able to massively extend its lead running down this section. The Hurricane is doing a similar thing. The Mosler is not as far back as I thought it might be. Jesus, that Mosler's brakes are astonishingly good through there. Well, all that gap's immediately gone. The Huracan could be in trouble here. As we saw with, well, the race against the Ford, how much the Lamborghini closed in through here. I think it might be about to be on the receiving end of this, but you still got to make the pass stick at the end of the day. You still got to, as Ewan going to have the grip, maybe actually around the outside up here. That's a brave place. If you get it wrong, you end up in the rocks. It's swap sides. Oh, I think there was a traffic car in the way, and Ewan is unbelievably brave. That was millimetres away from ending up in a crash barrier there. The traffic cars that we sadly cannot see at the moment, of course, all sorts of mayhem for this, and it's still close. You've got to really, you've got to really work and deal with them around this course. Ewan is out a little bit wide. Blakey with a much better line through there. May well have a go to the inside. You can tell someone's steering hard because the horn's going. Amazing. I don't know who that is, but I think it would be Ewan, because I'm pretty sure it's Blakey that has the cat meow horn that people think of my cat's meowing in videos, and it isn't. Sometimes it is my cat's meowing, but often it's Blakey's bloody car horn. I think the Mosler might have this one. Possibly. Although, no, take it back. Commentator's curse was very strong, although Blakey also followed suit. They're both pushing incredibly hard through these next couple of corners. Mosler has got a little bit of the lead. They were both out smidge wide, a little bit of airtime. There's a fair bit of airtime on this course, to be honest. Oh, no, Ewan, don't do that. Ewan's in a lot of trouble with the Armco barrier. It's going to be a drag race to the line, and it's just going to go the way of the Mosler. Huracan is eliminated, although it was a great run. It was a great run for the Lamborghini. Ewan tried their very best to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, but didn't quite end up off the circuit. A good race from the Mosler in that one. It's just so grippy in the corners. Might struggle in a straight line, but there's so much grip in the corners. The Mosler will take victory. And finally, the Lamborghini is eliminated. With the Lamborghini finally dethroned, the Mosler will carry on. Impega is the next contender with the Ferrari. This is the 488 Challenge race car, which is very cool. Very similar vehicles, these. There is one PI separating these two. We're expecting them to be close. The expectation is the Ferrari will be a little faster in a straight line. They're both going to be very good in the corners. We would perhaps hope that the Mosler will be the better of the two when it goes to the corners, but we'll have to wait and see. Both off the line. Similarly, the Ferrari struggling with traction, actually, through there. The Ferrari got a little bit of a wiggle, and the Mosler cannot quite hold it around the outside. So, who is going to have the more grip? Who will be braver? Ewan is across the dirt. You don't really want to do that. You'll just struggle to get traction. Ferrari is really struggling with its traction, actually. Maybe cold tyres not helping that car, not sure. But it is having a tough time. Ewan is again looking to the inside on the jump. Cannot quite do it this time. Although Ferrari doesn't go as wide as the Lamborghini did last time around. Off the hairpin they come. Both quite equally matched at this stage. The Mosler is carrying great speed through this section. Not quite close enough, though. Oh, Ferrari, big slide across the dirt. Again, you don't really want to end up out there, but it does get away with it. The brakes on the Mosler are very, very powerful, it would seem. Now comes the drag race, so we're expecting the Ferrari to pull away here, and indeed it is, and my drone will struggle. I've got to be full throttle in the drone. It's as fast as it goes, this. But it's kind of a cool shot. I just wish it could go a little bit faster. Ferrari has pulled away, but it's not by as much. And the Mosler can honestly make up so much ground under brakes here. Almost all that ground the 488 made is lost under braking into the next corner. The Mosler is so good at getting stopped. However, I mean, they're both good handling cars now. It's not going to be easy for Ewan to find a way past. Defending on this route is quite possible. I'm not going to say easy, but it's, when you get to the real twisty sections, you can defend quite well. Mosler is having a look every which way through here. There's that characteristic beep as Ewan is desperately trying to steer. It's closed through this section. No real room, though, to make that work. Ferrari's on a tight line. They're absolutely nose to tail as we come across the bridge. Will the Mosler be able to find a way past? It's been well controlled and well driven by Impega. The Ferraris looks a little bit squirrely under traction. Here goes the Mosler again, looking at the outside, can't do it. Goes for a cutback for the exit, still cannot quite get an overlap. Impega's just parks in the middle of the road. Impega's a little bit wide though, slightly missed the apex. The Mosler's having a go to the inside. but it's then the outside for the next corner. Ferrari keeps hold of the lead. Just big kick of oversteer from the Ferrari as we run through these next couple of corners. Ewan is quickly running out of time, and finding an Armco barrier is not going to help the Mosler. I think the Mosler could be in trouble here as we... Oh no, the Ferrari's in trouble! The Ferrari's gone wide! Oh, it's disaster for Impega. There really is only a couple of corners left now for the Ferrari. I think it's actually just a chicane. Ewan ended up in that Armco barrier last time around. Oh, it's disaster for the Ferrari. Ewan will claim victory. Impega fought so hard on that one. It was so close as well. Another great battle. A fantastic race. However, the Ferrari is eliminated. It ran wide at a critical corner, and yeah, it didn't fall off the mountain, just clipped the Armco barrier and got stuck out wide, and Mosler saw its opportunity. The Mosler claims victory and will march on to the next round. For our next round, the Mosler marches on. Dangerman is our next challenger, the McLaren 675 LT, I think I've got that one right, is the vehicle here. A couple of PI higher than the Mosler. Now, interesting difference. The McLaren, it's going to be faster in a straight line, right? It is on semi-slicks as opposed to full slicks of the Mosler, and there is some rain about. This may be the best shot the McLaren has got in terms of this, because it's going to struggle, even with that, it's going to struggle in terms of grip compared to the Mosler. At the end of the day, while the McLaren is an unbelievably fast car and it's still a road legal car at the end of the day, right? And the Mosler is not. The Mosler is a full-on GT3 car, so it's, yeah, we're going to see how this goes. Ewan is a little bit wide over the rocks there. I will also point out, it was checked with Ewan. Ewan was happy to run in these conditions before we started. They did sign off on these. They were given the option to wait, but no, decided to run in the rain as well. There may have been some traffic there. They were both trying to avoid, or I don't know. Ewan was very much to the inside and maybe got a little bit squeezed through there. But either way, they are fine. They are across the bridge. They are still nose to tail. The Mosler's going to struggle. So this is, again, we're going to see a similar story as we have seen so far today with various cars. McLaren is quick down the straight. In fact, you can see, oh God, you can see the gap it's made. However, it did run a bit wide there, which will have given it some grief. And again, the Mosler is mighty under brakes as we head into the twisty section. You've got slick tyres, Ewan. Stop going on the dirt. You're just going to have no traction trying to do that line. I don't think it's intentional, and you're not gaining time really taking that. Not with these sort of cars. Not in that manner. You definitely do not want to be touching the dirt in the wet like this. The Mosler is a little bit more slidey. It's a little bit more sketchy through here as we head towards there has been some traffic-related chaos. I'm going to hazard a guess. The McLaren ending up spinning in front of the Mosler. That's not what you need through that section. It's really annoying that we can't actually see it as the drone camera. It's that corner. The car's spawned on it. We can't do anything about it. The McLaren was going for it through there, and now we have... Again, now we're on the twisty section. This is the section where it's always going to be a problem for the power car, if you will. For the McLaren, it's going to have a difficult time keeping up in these corners, even with the track conditions as they are, even though it may have a smidge of an advantage in terms of tyre compound. It's just so not got the grip of a GT3 car that the Mosler is able to make the most and continue to extend its lead now as we head through the final couple of corners. The Mosler is going to march on into another round. The McLaren put up a hell of a fight, but the McLaren is going, oopsie-daisy, to be eliminated. It was a good race. It was unfortunate a little bit for the McLaren. It was always going to struggle once it got into the twisty sections, even with the assistance of the weather gods on the side of the McLaren. That Mosler will make its way through into another round. It is safe to say The weather has got a bit worse for this next round, but both cars are rear-wheel drive, both cars have slicks, so they're going to go in the worst conditions imaginable. This can only end well. Don't street race with your £1 million race cars is probably a good piece of advice, especially in the middle of a storm, but it's Forza, so we can. I don't know what the hell we're going to see from this one. Again, I'm expecting it to be a fairly similar affair of... Oh, Mosler is much better off the line. The Ferrari struggled to put its power down. It's likely to be a similar affair of Mosler good in the corners, Ferrari very good in a straight line. It's going to depend on who is able to make the most of their power in these not quite apocalyptic, but awful, awful weather conditions for the cars to go racing with. Ewan, of course, has got more experience on the circuit by this point. Oh, the Ferrari's done a big wheelie. The Ferrari made a mistake on the landing of the jump there, and it was a massive wheelie for the 599 through there. It's easily done. It is very easily done, as the Mosler will head into these next couple of corners and onto the bridge. You can't even see the exit of the bridge. That's how terrible these conditions are. Mosler, we know, super good under braking, although we say that and actually ends up a little bit wide. Now the Ferrari, the Ferrari is going to be very quick down this straight. The Ferrari is going to be able to make up some time down here. It's not going to be enough. Gee, this is a very difficult way. I'm trying to do fancy drone shots, and this is very difficult. Ferrari's in a wall. Ferrari's going to wish I wasn't filming there. Sorry, Mew. Where is a Mosler? The Scottish car is used to the terrible weather. Yeah. Oh, God, we say that, and Ewan's still in trouble as well here. It's by no means over. Mew's had a pretty unfortunate run so far. Oh, Ewan's looped it around, and that's why you never give up. You never give up in these, as Ewan has looped it around. He's actually not that far back now. Yeah. Funnily enough, the slick-tired cars in truly awful weather are not the easiest things in the world to drive. I mean, there's still opportunity for mistakes to be made in all of this. Where is that Ferrari? Oh, the Ferrari's playing it dangerous with the Armco barrier. And Ewan's already almost fallen off once through here and has now had a spin, so who knows what can happen as we get into the twisty section. If Ewan is sensible, you just back it off at this point. You've got no need to actually drive hard. I think Mute must have lost a little bit more time, but maybe about the right gap. Yeah, if you're in the lead with this bigger a lead, you just back it off, because it's unlikely the Ferrari is going to be able to gain enough time through a section where the Mosler is going to be good anyway, and the last thing you need, the last thing you want, is to fall off the cliff and get stuck. The Ferrari is losing bits of time. I think the Ferrari is desperately trying to push to catch up, but it is not quite going to be enough. This is where we saw Impega get into trouble. We've seen Ewan go wide here before, but it's neat enough this time around. The Mosler is a little wide through that section, but as we head through the final couple of corners, it's once more impressive showing from the Mosler. It slips and it slides its way across the finish line. Ewan is on to, well, continues the march onwards. Oh, and almost the march off the cliff for that. And the Ferrari is somewhere. Has anyone seen a Ferrari? It's very stormy. I think Ferrari may have gone off the mountain at some point. Has anybody seen a 599? Anybody? That's not it. That's one of the Pinata cars. That's also one of them. For a second I thought it was it. I don't know. We've lost a Ferrari. It was... yeah. Definitely an event. Definitely an event. So, it is on to my turn. I have got, as we are starting to lose the light, I've got the Porsche Mission R. It is electric. It is all-wheel drive, though. I have the big advantage. We have not got a huge amount of power, and we are relatively heavy at 3,300 pounds, but that is quite light for an electric car, of course. We have no top speed, particularly, although it might still be more than a Mosler. We will be off and underway. It's just, we can just launch. We can launch so well off of the line that, oh god, there's a flash of lightning going on. Yeah, we can just launch off the line like crazy. Now, the Mosler may still out-turn us through here. That is kind of... I've got to be aware that the Mosler is still just super grippy through all of this, and not to take anything for granted. You can see I've got a load of understeer through there, and the Mosler can close through that section quite considerably. We will run towards this next section, because Ewan knows this course better than I do, knows where they can push, knows where they can't. I mean, I've watched where the Mosler is strong. It's very good under brakes there. However, we should outrun it. I mean, we're going to gap it like we've seen many cars kind of do down here. There are some spots of rain, but it's not, the circuit's not wet. Oh, I've turned in too much through there. There's a transit to avoid. That's sketchy when you're traveling at very high speeds. A load of understeer for me. However, we are far enough away from the Mosler that if we have an understeery corner, we are able to deal with it. Little bits of traffic for us here. That's fine. We can spot that well enough. And again, we're a bit like in that previous race where I said for Ewan, we have the luxury of just being a little bit careful. We don't, I say that as the back end got a bit unhappy over those bumps, over those crests. Yeah, we don't quite have to be absolutely on the ragged edge. Because if we lose half a tenth in a corner, it's not the end of the world. Ewan has to make that half a tenth every corner. Well, not every corner, but as much as possible in the hope of catching up. I want to get into the next drift zone so that we are safe from traffic vehicles. We will dive through this twisty part of the lap. I think we're free of traffic cars till the end now. A little bit of understeer. There's always going to be some understeer from the Porsche. I think we have got this one relatively clear. Nope, not as clear as I thought. Mosler's right there. Jesus, that Mosler is so good in this section. I just don't have the grip of the Mosler. I saw the lights. I wasn't even really thinking about the Mosler. Oh, the rain has actually come right at the end. The road has got quite wet. That does favour me slightly through here as we head through this, and Ewan may well have made a mistake through that section there. Well, that Mosler gave us, I thought we were miles clear. I was doing what I said of we were pushing it to sort of 9/10 rather than 10/10, and Ewan went for it. The Mosler got close. It did give us a scare. Jeez, that thing's got so much grip. I mean, we are quite quick in the corners, but that is nothing compared to the Mosler. We do, though, have... It's the traction out of the corners that we've got our big advantage here with the all-wheel drive Mission R. For an electric car, yeah, pretty damn good handling. We have deposed the Mosler eventually. Oh, that gave us more of a scare than I was expecting, though. So, the Mosler has been deposed. It is now my Porsche Mission R that will continue on, and we are up against Chris driving a Zenvo. Now, I'll be honest, I love the Zenvo. It is a wonderful car. However, this is going to be very difficult for it. It has many powers. It has a wobbly wing, well, movable wing. It's really a wobbly wing. But I don't think that's going to be enough to take on the all-wheel drive Porsche. It will be faster than me in a straight line by quite a lot. If it can somehow get its power down, the issue it's got is I'm all-wheel drive and will launch well here, and sure enough we do. The Zenvo is not too bad, but we will have a nice lead going into turn 1. If the Zenvo can be close for the long straight, it might get past us. I just don't think it's going to be able to hold on after that long straight, because it's just not going to have the grip that we do. It's on semi-slicks as opposed to the slick tyres that we have. Chris was actually hoping, that this was going to be in the wet, as believe semi-slicks and the rear-wheel drive very powerful Zenvo would be better than slick all-wheel drive, but it is not still wet around here, so it's, yeah, null and void. That's theory. We've actually not had a very good run so far. We overdrove it on the jump. Got to brake a little bit more for that section. We will blast off of the bridge. Now the question is, can the Zenvo catch us? It is a real conundrum because we are not fast down here. The Zenvo may well be able to gain a lot of time through here. Now we will at least be able to be flat through this section, and I think the Zenvo will have trouble being flat through this section. Oh, that's a big air time for us. We're not as good under brakes as the Mosler was. The Zenvo's still there. The Zenvo's still there. I've got to be aware, and, you know, we've seen traffic can play a big part in this. You do not want to run into traffic in an inopportune moment. As good as the Mission R is, an inopportune car can really change that. although I think this course just gets better and better for us as it goes along. The big advantage, well, one of the big advantages we have here, of course, is the Zenvo will have way more power, but it can't use it. It can't put its power down onto the road like we can as we get into the twisty section where you are in low gears, where you are going slowly. We can just utilise our power a lot easier, and the Zenvo is, sure enough, struggling on the twisty mountain road. It did keep us a little bit honest at the start, that is for sure. We will now, again, it is really a case of, it's a little dangerous, well, as you saw with the Mosler, driving at like 9/10, trying to just not fall off a cliff. There are dangers associated with it, and the other big thing for me in some ways is we don't quite know what our car is fully capable of. I have a rough idea, but yeah, you don't quite know what your car is fully capable of for when we need to go, if there is a car closer, for example. But we will round. Oh, that's a little bit too far. That's a really interesting. I like that corner. It's a really interesting corner. Very nasty bump, sort of halfway round. Oh, hello, pickup truck. Oh, hello, other pickup truck. However, it is another victory for the Porsche. It was always going to be a very tall order for the Zenvo, that one. As much as it has the power of a wobbly wing, it is no match for the handling of the Mission R. We are through. Oh, God. To the I thought I'd park in a bit where I wasn't going to get hit. I was wrong. We are through to the next round. We will stay on in the tournament. Yeah, the Zenvo kind of stayed with us a little bit early on, but as soon as the going got really twisty, it just could not live with the Porsche. The next challenger to the Porsche's throne is from Brusky with a Radical. Now, that is a very different sort of car to a lot. I mean, it is a full-on track car, of course. It's very in keeping with this challenge, naturally. It's very small, very light, less power than me. It is rear-wheel drive. Should be quite grippy. It is a bit... I don't know what to make of it, because it's so light, it actually might beat me off the line. We didn't have a great start on that one. Oh, hello. Yeah, we did not have a great start on that one, which doesn't help matters for us. But yeah, we will have to try and do this the hard way. Now, the Radical on Forza games... Oh, well, it's understeered itself off a little bit. Hey, and has had some difficulties through there. It can be quite a twitchy car. It can be quite a difficult car to drive, which is the big downside. This Mission R, while it is a bit understeery and a bit boaty, well, not boaty, that would be unfair to it. It is a little bit understeery at times. It can be a little bit awkward at times. Oh, God, it is at least predictable. And that is a very helpful thing to have in a car when you are racing, especially on a course like this one. You want predictability. You want to be able to trust it. The Radical is right. Well, I mean, it had a bit of an iffy exit off of the bridge. I think it ate too much dirt, which you do not particularly want. We are heading up here. Oh, guys, turning quite early still through there. There is a Raptor. Oh, that was testing the brakes down there. Don't try and brake as late as the Mosler can. You will have an accident because its brakes are good and I'm going faster than it in a straight line. But so, yeah, I've got to tone it back a little bit here. Oh, I think the Radical... So the Radical's really pushing, trying to catch up. As you would expect from, you know, the car in second. If it doesn't catch and pass before the end of this run, it will be eliminated. So they've really got to go for it. And, yeah, just missed the hairpin a little bit. I am pushing this one a little bit more because I know... Oh, I need to know what my car is capable of in terms of some of these corner speeds for if we do make it through to the final, which is looking quite good for us. I mean, admittedly, that corner there I should be a little bit safe with the traffic. This is a part of this event. You've just got to deal with it when it turns up. And, yeah, it can be frustrating, but, you know, we've all got to deal with it, essentially. That's a little bit of understeer through there. But, of course, I can just be full throttle on the exit of these corners, and some of the other cars, the rear-wheel drive cars, a lot of them are going to struggle a little bit more with traction. That's not quite the line through there. That's okay. We will be as brave as we dare. This corner's deceptive. It looks faster than it is. It looks a lot faster than it is. We will try and not run wide through there. My English is struggling as we concentrate. We've just got one more section to go. We'll be flat through here. No traffic this time. Good run from the Porsche. I'm happy with that. We lost off the line, which does surprise me. It really does surprise me that we lost out to that Radical. It was very quick getting going. However, the difficult to drive Radical gets the better of Rusky, and then I think trying to catch up made a couple of little errors along the way. This Mission R is very quick. This Mission R is very quick. It will win another round, but there is a tougher test about to come its way. So, this is the last round. The Mission R has made its way through the leaderboard a little bit. And the grand final is a battle of the Porsches. Well, not quite the grand final, but yeah. Can we beat the 935? I am worried about that car. So, I should, in theory, beat it into turn 1. We should have the traction advantage on it. Again, we don't get a good enough start. That's a problem. That is not what we were expecting to have to deal with. But yeah, we have the big traction advantage. So we're going to have to do this the hard way, I think. Can we look for a way past down the hill? We're going to harass Gliska through this section. We're not quite able to yet. We've got an overlap, but it's the jump corner that I really don't want to risk something stupid on. Because at the moment, I don't want to send a pass crazy. We might get a good exit here. Not enough of a good exit. And because it puts us on a really bad line through the next corner. Not going to get a pass done here. Oh! Silverado was in the way, but it sent me off the other side as well. That's an annoying bit of traffic. Now, this is the section where the 935 is going to gain, I should expect. I should think that's going to be mighty quick down here. I mean, we're not slow. I do say that this is one of the slower cars, and it is one of the slower cars in a straight line, but we aren't actually slow down here. We do kind of die a little bit coming up the hill. But, oh, no. We have got crossed up. We were going left into a right-hander there in a braking zone while in the air. That's the worst combination of bits that we could have to deal with, essentially. Hey, I spotted the headlights going through that one. It's costing us little bits of time through all of this. Now, I've got to not do what I did against the Mosler. We've got to drive at maximum aggression, maximum attack here, because I think that car will be catching us. We just slide. That was a bit of an all-wheel drift going on through that turn. The Mission R was desperate to oversteer through this section. Don't end up off the bridge. We've actually gained some ground through there. We have made ground up. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to be in a little bit of bother. We are pushing this car as hard as I dare through some of these corners. Now, don't want to run wide on the exit. It's very easy to do. Don't want to. I've got all-wheel drive. Still don't want to dip a wheel in the dirt. Slick-tired race car does not fare well on dirt. The 935 is catching a little bit, although we can then hopefully use our traction up the hill. There we go. That's where we're so strong. That sort of traction zone is where we can really utilize the Mission R's strengths. And again, we get that corner there very nicely, though. We'll just slow it down. Remember how nasty this turn is. We can run a little bit wide. That's about perfect amount of wide. Oh, that's a little bit less perfect amount of wide. We have extended the lead a little bit as we head through here. Oh, there's a Ford in an awkward place. But it's not going to matter. In the battle of the Porsches, I keep pressing the wrong button for handbrake. In the battle of the Porsches, the Mission R will come out on top. Didn't quite do it the way I expected. We were not as fast off the line. We were very good in some twisty bits. We had a much better run, I will say. Again, as the event went on, we kind of grew into the car. And there we go. We will claim victory over the 935. It was a little bit scruffy in places, but we did manage to extend the gap later on in the run as well, which helps us. Oh, okay. We'll be the winner of the first part, but can we do the Grand Slam? So, we are on to the... I say that the final round. This grid is sorted in the reverse order of how cars went out, not their PI. So, Liam is up at the front. You can see Ewan had many rounds, the Mosler, it's only a couple of rows in front of us. I'm all the way at the back. This is going to be an absolutely insane race. We've got all 12 cars trying to run through here. Last time I managed to get victory. I ran the RS6 in the last sort of winner stays on tournament that we did, and I managed to take that to victory from the back of the grid. Can we do a similar thing here? I don't know. We know the Mission R is very, very capable. Chris is on the go commands. We are off and we are underway, and I'm going to try and make the most of the all-wheel drive start. Glissier got a little bit boxed in the other of the Porsches behind Rusky. We clear the Zenvo early, which is going to be important. I tried to clear the Ferrari, couldn't do it. We might be able to clear the Radical here. Possibly. We're going to get squeezed between a Mosler and a Ferrari. Impega is slipping and sliding. That 488 really struggles for grip. Oh, we've been lagged into a wall, and we've lagged into a wheelie. We've sent Rusky flying. Yeah, there's a little bit of lag from Impega there. We're going to dive bomber Chris. Oh, we're going to try and not get caught up with Mute, but I might not have much choice. We will outrun Mute through there. Blakey's had issues and is... I don't know what's happened to the Hurricane. That's a shame, because the Hurricane, we know, has been very fast here. Right, off the bridge we head. Now, the Mosler, we are hoping we can outrun it. Liam ran wide. The Mercedes is going to struggle as the Porsches will teamwork their way past. We are very evenly matched with the 935. It is now starting to pull away. I don't want to be on the outside here. We've already had one trip into some rocks that I did not want. Danger Man's visiting some scenery. Can I do anything back here? I don't know. There's another Porsche's gone out wide. Danger Man's fighting away with Glissier. And Pega's up to second now with that Ferrari, trying to chase down a Mackie that is leading the way in all of this. Can I find a way past Danger Man's McLaren around the outside? Yes, we can. Porsche traction is just immense through there. We are up to fourth. Considering we did a wheelie off of a rock, I am not displeased with this turn of events, and Ollie's had an accident, and Ollie's gone wide, and Glissier had to panic and avoid, and that's given us a position in all of this. It's Porsche trying to chase down a Ferrari at the moment. Oh, there's a Porsche to the inside, and I can't go for it because there was a Colorado on the outside. Glissier is going to try and fight back and get revenge for the earlier round. Oh, Impega's gone wide now. The Ferrari with a good lead and a bit of a mistake through all of that. Oh, Glissier got oversteer, and that really cost us. We're trying and trying and trying to find a way past. We're up the inside. We will clear the Porsche. Now, can we do anything about the Ferrari in the closing stage? There's really not many corners to go. It's the traction zones is what we're looking for here. We're looking to outdo the Ferrari in a traction zone, but we've got to bear in mind, of course, the Ferrari has great grip. We're trying to get underneath it. Oh, it's a big slide for the all-wheel drive Mission R. There's only a couple more corners to go here. Oh, Ferrari's in a little spot of bother, but I've oversteered. It's a drag race to the line, and the 935 is going to get us. We chucked it at the course in hope, but we couldn't do it. The Mosler crosses the line in fourth. Danger Man is fifth. Oh, the other Porsche is sixth, I think, in that one. Considering I bounced off a cliff face, we pushed it too hard at the end trying to get Impega, and we ended up slipping to third. I'm happy to accept the push like crazy, and yeah, I'm happy to accept a push like crazy and end up losing the second, trying to get the win. Considering how far back we had to come from early on, I will take it. Impega, great race for the Ferrari, redeems itself from earlier. It's absolutely mad. It's a good fun route with these vehicles. It is a good fun route to take. Yeah, bloody hell. Well, there we go. The Mission R, actually a very, very good track car in this one. It's had a lot of fun with this tournament. He might have won the winner stays on one, but the sort of champions of champions would go the way of the Ferrari this time out. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.